The date that I have come with is the final one.
Sure.
God wants to rescue the Christians out of the world before what is coming comes.
Why is it 2 days? Why is it the 23rd and
So
the 24th
it's 2 days
of September?
because the Feast of Trumpets is celebrated over 2 days. God's judgment will leave the world unrecognizable. Before your eye blinks, in the twinkling of an eye, you will disappear. The rapture will happen with such power, like with a strong force that the earth is going to shake. So to those who are in darkness, this day will surprise them.
And have you ever seen heaven? Have you been there? Have you had an encounter? Have you had a vision of heaven?
I saw God with my own eyes. The date.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And those are who the world ignorantly call both God and Jesus, okay? Now, what we have or what we witnessed was a prediction by an individual of when the so-called rapture would occur or take place, which he stated September the 23rd and 24th of 2025, okay? And this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 22. It says, when a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, Yahweh, which he said he had a vision, he said he saw God, and he told him that the rapture would be September 23rd and 24th. It says, if the thing followeth not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yahweh have not spoken, but the prophet have spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him. So in the Christian world, there's this thing known to Christians as the rapture, when who they call Jesus Christ will come and rapture those who believe, all right? And this guy is saying that that's supposed to take place the 23rd and the 24th, all right? Now, this whole belief is based on a passage out of Daniel, the 9th chapter, the 27th verse. We're going to look at that. This is Daniel 9 and 27. It's part of the 70 weeks. It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Now, they refer this 1 week to 7 years. This is the 7-year tribulation that the Christians associate the rapture with, where those who believe in Jesus will be raptured, while those who don't will be left here for 7 years of tribulation. All right? They reference this scripture right here. It says, and he shall confirm the covenant. And they believe that the he is speaking of the Antichrist. Okay? This is the Christian doctrine on being raptured. It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So this is the verse that the Christian raptures believe that's going to take place in the not too far distant future, that Christ is coming to rapture the believers only, and then the non-believers will be left here for a 7-year period of tribulation, all right, which is associated with Jacob's trouble, which is associated with the hour of temptation, and they believe that they won't have to witness this because they will be raptured before all of this happens. Now that goes into the pre-rapture. In the mid-rapture, half, or should I say the Christians believe half of that period, they will witness or take part of it, but then they will be raptured up. And then the post-rapture or tribulation is those that endure to the end will be raptured up, all right, of that 7-year period, the 1 week, all right? But little do they know, Daniel 9:27 has already taken place, all right? Daniel 9:27 is speaking of the events leading up to 70 AD, okay? Daniel 9:27 has already taken place, okay? It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause sacrifice and the oblations to cease. Now, this is going into the Romans, breaking off their, treaties and alliance with Israel, particularly the Jews in Jerusalem, to allow them to continue their sacrifice and the oblations leading up until the first Jewish-Roman war, or wars that beginning in 66 CE or AD, all the way up until right around 74 or 73 AD or CE, Common Era, all right? And how that the Romans, the Edomites, they would not allow the Jews at that time in Jerusalem to partake in certain sacrifice or in the sacrifice and oblations of the temple. And eventually that led to tensions being, risen, and eventually the wars breaking out were that what? The Romans, what's the word I'm looking for? The Romans sacked the temple, they destroyed the temple and everything else in 70 AD, all right? So the Christians believe that this verse is the verse that gives them the right to understand that the tribulation for that 1 week is the 7 years that those that believe won't have to partake in, all right? And this is what this guy is saying that's supposed to happen later this month, the 23rd and the 24th, okay? And you have some Christians that's saying it won't happen because they look at verses like no man knows the time, the day, or the hour, but they still believe in the rapture doctrine, which we're going to show you that you will have to physically be here in order to be delivered, okay? You're not going to be raptured off into some secret place where nobody can know except for those who believe, okay? Everyone is going to experience. And furthermore, salvation is only for the Israelites, all right? This whole thing about replacement theology, where the church has replaced the Israelites, is going completely off, man. All right? The only ones that will receive salvation are the Israelites, man. I can't stress that enough. We can't stress that enough. You other heathens trying to supersede yourself into this salvation by this rapture doctrine ain't going to fly, man. All right? Everybody's going to face this tribulation, this time like never before. It ain't going to be no, I'm going to be raptured off into thin air, and then we ain't going to face 7 years of tribulation, this has already taken place. It's already taken place. Okay? You don't get to escape the troubles. All right? You don't get to escape Jacob's trouble. Let's go there and show you it's going to be a physical thing. And it's only for Jacob. Jacob is the one that's going to be saved out of it. This is Jeremiah 30 and verse 5. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. You ain't getting raptured, man. Ain't no 7 years of tribulation. Daniel 9 and 27 has already taken place. So stop running to that, so you can supersede yourself into this. Why do the heathens imagine vain things? Psalms 2. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The rapture, the pre-tribulation, the mid-tribulation, the post-tribulation, it's all a vain thing. You ain't escaping slavery, man. All right? Everyone's going to be here on earth to witness Jacob's trouble, and the only ones that's going to be delivered out of the thermonuclear missiles is the elect of Israel. All right? We get beamed up into the chariots as the indignation passes over, and then we come back down after a time pursuant to Revelation 18, and then we take you heathens, beginning with the elites, the nobles, into slavery. So stop trying to rewrite the Bible with the rapture doctrine. Okay? Stop imagining a vain thing. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man, not just some that believe and some that don't believe, every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all, not ones that been raptured up, the quote-unquote believers in Jesus Christ. Come on. It says, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. You see? This is going down. Everyone's going to take place in Jacob's trouble. All right? And the hour of temptation is inside of Jacob's trouble. Verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. This is the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Hour of temptation. When the troops, when these martial law military soldiers are coming in with everything, with drones, with HARP machines, with you name it. Okay? This is like a time like no other. You ain't escaping this by some rapture. If you believe that, you've been had. You've been sold. You're going to miss out on salvation. It says, at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. There's never going to be a time like, there's never been a time like this since the beginning. All right, this is this man last hurrah. This Edomite last hurrah. He's coming with great wrath. But he's looking to take you Israelites out that believe in this rapture doctrine, because you haven't what? Sought to seek Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shai, while he may be found. Instead, you rely on this Christian dogma of a rapture. So he got you occupied. Instead of being in this truth and seeking Yahweh, getting in the strong tower, you putting your trust and faith in a goddamn rapture doctrine, man. Where you get raptured for 7 years while tribulation is down here on earth, while the non-believers are left to believe, and then after those 7 years, you come back down, and then Jesus makes a third appearance. It says, but he shall be saved out of it. Who is the he? Jacob. Israel. Specifically the elect of Israel. Okay? Not all of Israel is going to be saved on this side of the missiles. Only the elect. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. This is giving us more insight to the fact that what? We are going to be here on earth during Jacob's trouble in the hour of temptation. This is the beginning of us being removed from out of our oppressor's hand. Having that yoke to be what? Broke from off of our neck. Because why? Under the current rulership right now, we pay taxes. Our food is tainted. Our women is tainted. We are under the curses. But this is the beginning of the curses being removed. All right? It says, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. Who? The Edomites. They are the world powers. They're the ones that's in control right now. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Job 9:24. All right. It says that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Who is the him? Jacob. Strangers ain't going to get over on us. Let's see if we can read this in a different translation. Let's read the NLT. For in that day, saith Yahweh of heaven's armies, I will break the yoke from their necks and snap their chains. Foreigners, listen up, will no longer be their masters. See? This is a future prophecy known as Jacob's trouble, where the elect will be delivered out of that. And scarcely. Let's go there. 1 Peter chapter 4. or 17, for the time is come, this is 1 Peter 4 and 17, for the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. So those that know the truth and know better. But guess what? They don't do what's required and ask for them. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? Here's the point, verse 18. And if the righteous scarcely be saved. So those of us that are striving to endure to the end according to the word of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, if we scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? And it's going to be what? Here in America, the lake of fire, which is going to be from coast to coast when the missiles set this whole place on fire. The whole 10 FEMA zones, the 10 part. All right? This is where they're going to be at, in the lake of fire. All right? Ain't no rapture coming to deliver the church, the believers in Jesus Christ, so that they don't have to partake in the 7 years of tribulation and then come back. Okay? That's a doctrine to allow you to be misled to take the mark of the beast. That's its sole purpose for you Israelites that don't take heed to the word and believe that rapture doctrine. That's Esau, Edom, attempt to misguide and mislead you down a timeline that will allow you to take a RFID microchip and in the hopes of being raptured, you will be what? Chipped and then what? Destroyed. Because why? There will be no rapture that's coming to deliver you for 7 years. That's your strong delusion that the Lord has put on you for believing a lie. So now, in the midst of you taking that microchip and waiting for the rapture to come within those 7 years, you've been marked. Okay? You've been marked. All right? And not the mark in exempt, but marked as in chipped with the charagma. Okay? So this is very serious, man. The rapture doctrine is very deceiving. It's deceptive. And I tried to do a live on it earlier this morning, and for some reason I was having trouble, recording for minutes, and then it'll stop, and then, I just had to just make a video. Okay? And probably for the better. All right? So it says, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So they don't have salvation, man. The ungodly and the sinner is going to be what? Left here when Babylon the Great gets destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. What does the thermonuclear missiles play in the midst of being raptured? Okay? How does that come into play? Ask the Christians that. Ask the so-called Christians, how is America destroyed? You see? They ain't gonna have an answer for that. Because they don't know. They don't know America's Babylon the Great. They don't know that this place is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. They don't know that the chariots are going to come and deliver the elect. That's why it says, and the righteous scarcely shall be saved. Because we're going to be praying to the Most High that we are the elect. That's when you get Psalms 91 and Revelation 15. Okay? We go up into the chariots for a while Isaiah 26 and 20. This is Isaiah 26 and 20. It says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy door about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. This is the missiles destroying America. Revelation 15. It says, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. For in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. So this is the elect watching America burn from the chariots up in the chambers, looking down at America being destroyed with fire. And them that had gotten the victory over the beast. See, those are the ones that didn't take the microchip. Those are the ones that didn't take the mark of the beast. And over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. See, the sea of glass is that chariot looking down on what? America being destroyed. But if you take the RFID microchip, the mark of the beast, because you believe that you're going to be raptured before the 7-year tribulation, then guess what? You get destroyed along with the ungodly and sinners. This is the deception that these Christians are putting on you, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, known as the Israelites, so that you can take this and not receive salvation. Okay? We here to tell you there will be no rapture in the sense that you get raptured up, no one knows where you're going, and then 7 years you come back. Or any other dispensation, whether it's a mid or post, it will be none of that. Daniel 9 and 27 has already taken place. Yahweh Shai warned us of that. This is Matthew 24 and 15. Perilous times, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel, the prophet, stand in the holy place, Jerusalem. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee unto the mountains. This was a warning leading up into 70 AD. All right? Part of the 70 weeks. Okay? So if you believe that week that he shall, what did it say? Let's look at it again. If you believe that Daniel 9 and 27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and that week is that 7-year tribulation period, and that he is the Antichrist, if you believe that, you're going to be taken, all right? You're going to be taken in the sense that you're going to be had. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. See? And Christians say this is the Antichrist breaking his covenant with those who don't believe. See? They leading you down the wrong path, man, and it's deliberately. All right? This mark of the beast is coming, and everyone is going to be tried on earth. Ain't going to be no, you're going to be raptured in the beginning or the middle or the end, and then you ain't going to have to go through no tribulation or go through some tribulation or go through the end of the tribulation. Your ass is going through every part of Jacob's trouble. And if you make it to the end, when the missiles come, you're going to get burned up if you ain't part of the elect. So Jacob's trouble, culminating everything in between the mark of the beast and the grand finale, the missiles, when Yahushua comes with the chariots as well, you don't get to escape none of the judgments, man. All right? None of the judgments you don't get to escape. Revelation 3 and 10 is part of that. They tell you if you leave during the beginning of the tribulation, then you don't have to worry about the hour of temptation. That's bullshit. You know what? Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Oh, you see? He's going to keep us from the hour of temptation. We're going to be raptured. We ain't going to have to be down here to witness the temptation. Leave the Christian church ASAP. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. This is speaking of when they make the microchip mandatory, which shall come upon all the world. It's going to be a thing that tries everybody on earth. To try them that dwell upon the earth. See, it says upon the earth. We're going to be raptured in that time. We ain't going to be here on the earth. This is the okie doke that Esau Edom has set up through his theology, seminary school to preach this damn dogma. His theologians. However you say the damn word, man. You know what I'm saying. Esau Edom set up these theology schools and these seminary schools to teach this damn doctrine to deceive the Israelites. That's why it says in Matthew 24 and 24. It says, for there shall arise false anointings and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. See? But we understand a rapture doctrine ain't going to deceive the very elect, all right? Because why? We understand prophecy, all right? We know everyone's going to be here to see and be tried. And only the elect of Jacob is going to be delivered out of that. All right? Those that are in America will be destroyed, the 2/3 in the heathens. And those outside of America, speaking of the heathens, will be going into slavery, beginning with the elites. Okay? Let's jump up to 22. It says, nope, that ain't it. I want to see. I want to look and see if it says, oh, here it is. It says, behold, I have told you before, wherefore if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. See? Only the raptures, only the believers are going to be able to see. He's in the secret chambers. We're going to be raptured into this secret place where only the believers know of it. The non-believers, they won't know about it until we come back down. See, and then they try to use verses like 1 Thessalonians 4 and 17 when they taking it out of context, okay? 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16 down to 17 is speaking of when what? The missiles come to destroy this place. They don't account for that in their rapture doctrine. Okay? That's what they're not accounting for. That America, Babylon the Great, will be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear missiles, World War III, which, if the Lord permits, I'm going to get around to doing that eventually. And the host of heaven, along with Yahushua, returning. These are part of the rapture doctrine that they don't account for. See? So wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers. Believe it not. See? And like I said, they like to run to 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16 and 17. Okay? But they don't have the understanding that why. That is speaking of when the missiles come to destroy America. We're going to be delivered up in that time. All right? Those of us that are written in the book of life, the elect. And then Isaiah 26 and 20, we're going to come into the chambers, the chariots, while the indignation pass over. And then Revelation 18, we come back down out of the chambers, the chariots, New Jerusalem with new bodies, and we take over the earth, and we put these nations into what? Chains, feathers, and we take them into slavery to build back up our homeland, Israel, and other parts of the earth. All right? But America will not be built back up again. It will not be inhabited by people. All right? So this whole rapture doctrine in general is flawed. But the fact that they say in September 23rd and 24th is the rapture is going off already. Okay? So the whole rapture 7-year tribulation is complete false. Because you do go into 1 Thessalonians 4 and 17, and that word does, let me see, 1 Thessalonians 4 and 17, that word, what is it? Let me see if I can find it. Yes. This word, let me see how they pronounce it.
Strong's G 726. Harpazo.
That word harpazo is where rapture comes from. Or should I say rapture is what, let me see how to rephrase this. Harpazo. The word rapture comes from harpazo. But it's not the rapture in the sense that you get raptured up into heaven for 7 years, pursuant to Daniel 9 and 27, while the Antichrist deceives everyone. And then after that, you come back down. That's not the rapture that it's speaking of. It's speaking of that you get beamed up into the chariots while the indignation passes over here in America, and then we come back down as New Jerusalem. All right? This is where the bulk of the deliverance is coming from out of America, Babylon the Great. Now, you're going to have other places throughout America where the chariots are going to deliver the elect. But for the most part, is going down here in Babylon the Great. This is the place that's going to be completely annihilated, all right? 200 million missiles, if I'm not mistaken, warheads. I believe that's Revelation 9, all right? So America will be destroyed, all right? And this is what the rapture doctrine don't take into account, okay? So just wanted to touch up on that a little bit and state that September the 23rd to the 24th rapture doctrine, nonsense, dogma, it ain't coming to pass. Okay, the mark of the beast hasn't even been made mandatory. All right, so stay clear away from Christian dogma, man. Okay, let's go ahead and close out 1 Peter 5 and 8. It's 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." And is no more slickster than Esau Edom himself, man. Okay? It don't get no more slicker than Esau Edom, man. All right? Putting out false doctrines, deceiving the mass, really trying to get the elect, but he won't, man, because the elect already know. Understand prophecy is key. Why? That's why it says seek Yahweh, man. If you ain't seeking Yahweh, then you won't understand prophecy. All right? You won't understand that the mark of the beast has to be made mandatory. You won't understand that everyone is going to be tried on the face of the earth. You're going to buy into Daniel 9 and 27, the he being the Antichrist, the 1 week being 7-year tribulation. Now you don't have to take the mark of the beast, or should I say, now you're not going to partake in the tribulation or Jacob's trouble. Because why? You're going to be raptured. But little do you know, there will be no rapture, okay? In the sense that you're going to be taken away for 7 years and brought back. See? They want you to believe that so you could take the chip first and then be raptured later. It's all designed to discombobulate and to lead you astray. All right? And if you believe it and you take the chip because you thought you was going to be raptured and it never happened, then that's on you. Okay? Like that song go, that's on you, baby. I forgot who sang that. That dude that's, I think, in jail right now. Yellow Beezy. That's on you, baby. You take that, that's on you. Because you been warned, man. All right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.